Have you ever stopped to think about how a war can be decided behind the scenes, while at the same time someone might be making millions before any official announcement even happens? And what if I told you that there could be people making money knowing exactly what's going to happen before the rest of the world? So go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel, because what you're about to understand can completely change the way you see not only this war, but the very way global power works. Now pay close attention, because what's happening right now involves much more than just military conflict. It involves strategy, narrative, and possibly money moving behind the scenes. It all starts with Iran, which, after a direct attack on one of its ships, took a hard stance, stating that it would not participate in new negotiations. But now, the scenario is starting to shift. President Massoud Pezeshkian made an important statement, saying that honoring commitments is the foundation of any meaningful dialogue. It sounds simple, but in practice, it's a clear signal of openness. But it's not just any kind of openness, it's a cautious one, because Iran knows exactly where it stands. There is a deep historical distrust toward the United States, built over decades of conflicts, sanctions, and broken agreements. So the current move is delicate. At the same time that Iran needs to negotiate to ease sanctions, revive its economy, and ensure oil flow, it also needs to maintain its image of strength without appearing to back down or give in to pressure. On the other side, the United States faces a similar dilemma. Ending the conflict is necessary, but how that happens is the real issue, because neither side wants to come out looking defeated. And that's exactly where the core of the impasse lies. It's not just about making a deal, it's about making a deal where both sides can claim victory. But while these negotiations are happening behind the scenes, a new element emerges that completely changes how we see everything. A recent investigation analyzed the behavior of the financial market, especially oil and stocks, and found something very striking: a pattern. Large financial movements started happening shortly before major statements involving the U.S.
Government and comments from Donald Trump. We're not talking about isolated coincidences. We're talking about repeated movements where investors made heavy bets minutes or hours before announcements that would directly impact the market. And after those statements were made, the market reacted exactly in the direction of those bets. This raises an extremely serious possibility. Someone may have had access to insider information, and if that's confirmed, it's not just an irregularity. It could be market manipulation, a serious crime within the U.S. financial system, prohibited for decades. And this is where the situation shifts to a whole new level. Because if decisions related to war are being anticipated by investors, then we're not just talking about geopolitics, we're talking about money moving even before events become public. That leads to an unavoidable question: to what extent are political and military decisions also being used as tools for profit? Because while countries enter conflict, while there is global tension, risk of escalation, and direct impact on millions of lives, there may be an invisible layer where a few benefit by anticipating every move. And that connects everything: war, markets, politics, and power. At the same time, Iran continues to evaluate its participation in negotiations in Islamabad, maintaining a strategic stance. It's not a definitive yes, but it's no longer a no. It's a pressure game where each side tests the other, seeking advantage without showing weakness. And while this unfolds, the market watches, reacts, and possibly anticipates. The current scenario is extremely sensitive. Any statement, any military or diplomatic move can completely change the course of negotiations and also move billions in the financial market within minutes. And that's exactly what makes everything even more complex, because it's not just about who wins or loses a war, but who profits from it before the outcome even appears. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Iran will actually participate in the negotiations, or is this just a pressure strategy? And this possible link between political decisions and market profit, do you believe it could be real? Comment below, because I really want to know your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next developments could change everything very quickly.